Hello everyone, welcome back to another Blender Bits tutorial. Today we're going to be going over materials and lighting. This can be done pretty simply within your panel over here, and let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to do for a material is to have an object to apply to it. So let's hit Shift A and go to Mesh and add in a cube. Now if you come to this panel over here, there's the material properties, so you're going to want to click on that. As you can see, we can create a new material, so let's just add a new material to this. So the first thing we're going to do is see what our material looks like. So let's hit preview here to drop down this menu. Zoom in, get a little better idea of what this cube looks like. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of different options to choose from, but I'm going to focus on just a couple of them today. So the first one is the base color, which just changes the color of your object. I'm going to hit Control Z to go back to white. The metallic here changes how metallic your object is. The specular changes the shininess of the object, roughly, and the roughness changes the roughness of it. So you can see here, if we bring the specular all the way down, metallic all the way up, and then roughness down to something around here, we get a brushed metal look. And then we can change the color of that to maybe like a light blue. So now we're going to want to look at what this looks like in our scene. So first thing, let's go to our render properties and click on that. And then our render engine is currently set to Eevee. Let's change that to cycles, and then go from CPU to GPU. If you have a GPU, I would suggest using it, as it greatly speeds up your rendering time. So first, you're going to hit Z to open up the shading menu and click on 8 for rendered. So this is currently what our cube looks like. Pretty boring because the light is coming equally from all directions. So let's hit Shift A to add in a light, and let's click on the point light. So as you can see here, it started to cast a little bit of light on our object. Let's turn up the value to something like 2,000, so you can see how that changes it. Maybe like 20,000, give it a lot more light. And then we can also change the color of our lamp on this object. I'm just going to hit Control Z to go back to a white light again. So there's a couple other lights that we can play around with. There's the sun, which will add in an equal amount of light from any direction. So currently, because this is just a metallic object, it doesn't really show that well, but you can see that these sides where the sun is coming from are a lot brighter. There's also the spotlight, which puts light onto your object in that radius there. So if we turn this up a lot, you can see and change the color. It's adding light onto the object in that cone. And then also the area light, which will cast a light out in the direction of your object from that square or whatever shape you choose from this drop down menu. If you want, you can start adding other objects by hitting Shift D to duplicate this. I've moved this object over here. Another thing you can do is hit Shift A and add in a sphere and move it over to the side, and you can see that it's just the default white material, but if you want to change it to whatever material you already have, you can go into this drop down menu and click on your material here. As you can see, we can see all the faces on this sphere, and you might not want that. You might want it to be totally smooth. So right click and hit Shade Smooth while you have the sphere selected, and that will shade your sphere smooth, and it will make your sphere not have any of those faces on it or whatever object you choose. I hope you've learned something today. If you did, that's wonderful. Have a great day.